it is an open fact, not just because of the veto threat from the White House, but it is already known that this bill the House is going to pass, this continuing resolution, won't get through the Senate. So why are we doing this whole song and dance again?
This is what we do. This is how governing happens in Washington, D.C. We saw Mike Johnson throw out his opening salvo. We saw Hakeem Jeffries treat it as an opening salvo. But you're right. Everyone just wants to get back to their races, make sure the down ballot really counts, keep their donors interested, keep their voters engaged. And they're trying to show that they can govern a little bit and show that we can horse trade. And when one side says, I want too much, and we can kind of talk them off the ledge. So it's also just kind of showing voters the most recent example of winning in negotiations.
So we've all seen this movie before. Kailey, I don't know how many times we've gone through this in 2024. I guess I'm losing count here. And it always seems to end the same way after everyone, as I mentioned, gets the countdown clocks running and we have a last-minute freak out here. Julie, fine, what's different this time, if only the fact that we've got an election looming? Does that provide some insurance, knowing lawmakers don't want to go home to talk about shutting down the government?
Not only do lawmakers not want to go home to talk about shutting down the government, lawmakers don't want to go home with a shut down government. So obviously, it's very clear they are going to figure something out, and they have to figure it out in the next 3 weeks. So I think that's what's slightly different this time. You really kind of know that it's not going to end with a shutdown. So what it appears to be to many is just a waste of time to get to something we all know they are getting to.
Well, and of course, the negotiations on Capitol Hill are not the only thing we're paying attention to this week. We are all awaiting tomorrow night the debate between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. It will take place, Julie, on ABC. Going into it, we know, based on the new New York Times Siena poll, that this is a dead heat race. Donald Trump leading Harris by 1 point nationally, though that is within the margin of error. So who are the stakes higher for tomorrow night?
Well, I think that the stakes are almost slightly higher for Kamala Harris because it is the first time that they have seen her debate Donald Trump. If you remember, you have seen President Biden debate Donald Trump in the past. So it'll be interesting to see how she approaches that. However, for the former president, you look at how well he did in the last debate comparatively. So it is a big night for him. People, however, will also be looking to see how he reacts to her. So a big night for both of them. But again, for Kamala Harris, the first time she has faced off with Donald Trump. And in fact, the first time they will meet in person.
It is and remarkable to think that Donald Trump has been a part of more general election debates, presidential general election debates, than any candidate in American history. Isn't that something? When you think about this is the third time around now. So with that said, what does his experience mean for her preparation? They're taking very different paths here. She's hunkered down in Pittsburgh doing mock debates. He's out riffing with friends and the media. Knowing that he's done this that many times, she's never done this before, means what for her?
Joe, that's a fascinating fact. Eyebrows raised. I had no idea about that. I'm quite surprised.
It was John Carl, by the way, who said that yesterday, and my eyebrows raised the same way.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to see Kamala Harris meet Trump. It's going to happen before our eyes. They're going to meet for the first time, shake hands for the first time ever. That's also rare. Yeah. We're seeing Harris prepare methodically, like a student, like she did in law school, as a prosecutor, and Trump is a chaos agent, where there are no rules. Kamala Harris is used to the rules. Donald Trump is not used to the rules. He likes to go against the grain and surprise you. So I think if she's never met him, she doesn't know what it's like, his height, his build, his demeanor on stage, which really, I think there were some interesting moments between him and Hillary Clinton in 2016. And he has so much experience, like you're saying, not just presidential debates, but just across the spectrum, right? He debated Hillary Clinton as well, and that is a formidable opponent.
Well, of course, that all speaks to the kind of performance aspect of all of this. It also, though, theoretically should be about policy, even if that's not what ultimately for the American voter it is about. We saw the Harris campaign finally putting a policy platform up on the website. It includes things going beyond what she'd already proposed, like no tax on tips, now suggesting there should be no sub-minimum wage for workers who are receiving tips. How much further should we expect both of these candidates, frankly, to be fleshing out specific policy details on that stage tonight?
I kind of wonder if Trump's economic policy speech on Thursday and Harris putting out more paper and having more dedicated speeches to the issue in the last 10 days is sort of a way to get everything, all the new information out there a little bit early. And let's see if the moderator or the two candidates themselves can pull new information from each other. The interesting thing is where they overlap, because they both actually represent economic populism. Regardless of who you vote for, all policies are populist policies.
And I suspect that Donald Trump will accuse Kamala Harris of stealing the no taxes on tips, as it did come a day or two later. What's your thought on that, Julie? How detailed do these candidates need to be tomorrow night, or are we missing the show business element here when we're asking questions like that?
I think they will have to be as detailed as the questions they are asked. I think when they are having their discussion and their answers, that will be basically ideas and what they think is important. I think that one, in one respect, is really on the moderators. How specific are they going to be when it comes to their policies? One thing I did think that was very interesting about looking at the vice president's website is talking about how Congress must pass a bipartisan border bill. So there you're sort of getting an inkling that she's already ready to fight back about him saying she's not tough on the border. She already has her argument ready that, wait, hey, Congress tried to do this and the Republicans turned it down. So I think you're going to see a lot of ideas tomorrow night. The specifics, I think, are going to be based on how specific the questions are.